Imagine tucking your child into a cozy crib tonight, switching on the baby monitor, closing the bedroom door, and expecting everything to be perfectly fine until morning. It feels completely normal today. Yet for nearly all of human history, leaving an infant alone through the night would have been almost unimaginable. There were no nurseries, no monitors, no doctors on call, only darkness, unpredictable weather, and predators capable of detecting the scent of a newborn from remarkable distances. For more than 300,000 years, every generation of humans faced the same challenge. Human babies entered the world as the most vulnerable members of any species, and helping them survive demanded extraordinary effort. Understanding how our ancestors accomplished this reveals surprising truths about parenting, family life, and even the way our own bodies evolved. The reason this story begins with us is because humans are biologically unusual. Many newborn animals become surprisingly independent within hours or days. A young horse can stand shortly after birth. Baby chimpanzees instinctively cling to their mothers almost immediately. Human infants, by comparison, cannot even support their own heads. Walking takes about a year. Feeding independently takes years. And surviving even a single night depends entirely on someone else's care. This extraordinary helplessness exists because of one remarkable feature: our brains. Human brains are so large that waiting until they reached the developmental stage seen in other primates before birth would make childbirth nearly impossible. Evolution solved this problem with a compromise. Human babies arrive with brains only about 1/4 of their eventual adult size, while much of brain growth continues outside the womb. Our incredible intelligence came at the cost of an unusually long period of complete dependence. Sometimes the greatest strengths require the greatest investment. Human potential was never meant to appear fully formed on the day we were born. Growth, learning, and connection became part of our survival strategy from the very beginning. Comment 1. If this changes the way you think about why human babies need so much care. For ancient parents, this vulnerability created a constant danger. A baby could not cling to its parent, escape predators, or remain silent when threats approached. In landscapes filled with large carnivores and countless other dangers, an infant represented not only hope for the future, but also an easy target. So how did humanity overcome such impossible odds? The answer was not individual strength, it was community. Anthropologist Sarah Blaffer-Hrdy argued that humans evolved differently from our closest primate relatives. Chimpanzee mothers usually raise their offspring almost entirely alone, protecting and caring for them without much assistance for several years. Humans developed another path entirely. We became cooperative breeders, meaning children were raised by entire groups rather than a single parent. This wasn't simply a cultural preference, it was an evolutionary necessity. Raising large-brained, slow-developing children demanded more energy, protection, and attention than one person could consistently provide. Sharing responsibility became one of the defining characteristics of our species. Communities do more than divide work. They multiply hope. Every helping hand gives a child another opportunity to thrive, reminding us that survival has always been a shared achievement rather than an individual accomplishment. Evidence from traditional hunter-gatherer societies illustrates just how deeply cooperation shaped human life. Among the Ifi people of the Congo, researchers observed infants being passed between many caregivers throughout the day. Mothers certainly played the central role, but fathers, grandparents, older siblings, neighbors, and unrelated adults all participated in caring for children. Babies were constantly surrounded by human contact. Similar observations among the AKA people of Central Africa showed fathers spending remarkable amounts of time within arm's reach of their infants. This level of involvement was not a modern parenting philosophy. It reflected patterns that likely stretch back through countless generations of human evolution. One lesson appears again and again throughout human history. Children flourish when they are surrounded by many caring adults, not because every adult is perfect, but because love and responsibility become stronger when they are shared. Constant physical contact was another essential part of keeping children alive. Long before humans walked upright, our primate ancestors relied on thick body hair that infants could grip while their mothers moved. As human evolution gradually reduced that body hair, newborns lost the ability to hold on by themselves. Parents adapted by carrying babies almost constantly. They created slings from animal hides, woven plants, and other natural materials. Archaeological discoveries even suggest that prehistoric families made specially crafted baby carriers thousands of years ago. Carrying an infant was far more than convenience. It was one of humanity's earliest survival technologies. Modern science has identified what researchers call the transport response. When a baby is lifted against a caregiver's body, heart rate slows, breathing becomes steadier, and crying often fades quickly. Deep inside the nervous system, this ancient response still exists. In dangerous environments, a quiet infant reduced the chance of attracting predators. Even today, when a crying newborn settles almost instantly in someone's arms, that remarkably old survival program is still quietly doing its job. Sometimes the oldest instincts continue living inside us long after the dangers that created them have disappeared. Our bodies remember stories that our minds have long forgotten. Comment too if you've ever watched a crying baby calm down the moment someone picked them up. Keeping babies alive also meant feeding them, and for ancient families there were no alternatives to breast milk. Mothers commonly nursed their children for 2, 3, or even 4 years in many hunter-gatherer societies. There were no bottles, no infant formula, and no reliable supply of clean drinking water. Breast milk provided complete nutrition while also delivering antibodies that protected children from diseases in a world without medicine. Extended breastfeeding had another important effect. Frequent nursing naturally delayed ovulation, creating longer intervals between pregnancies. In environments where caring for even one helpless infant demanded enormous energy, spacing births increased the chances that each child would survive. As children grew beyond milk alone, families improvised another remarkable solution. Adults softened meat, roots, and other difficult foods by chewing them first before feeding them directly to infants. This process, known as pre-mastication, helped children digest foods they otherwise could not eat. Some researchers have even suggested that this ancient method of feeding may have influenced the origins of certain forms of close human affection seen across cultures. Innovation does not always come from advanced technology. Sometimes it comes from people finding simple, practical ways to solve life's most urgent problems. One of the most fascinating chapters in human evolution involves grandmothers. Unlike many animals, human women often live for decades after they stop having children. From an evolutionary perspective, this once seemed puzzling. Then, anthropologist Kristen Hawkes proposed an explanation known as the grandmother hypothesis. Studying the Hadza people of Tanzania, Hawks found that older women remained highly productive members of their communities. They gathered food, dug nutritious roots from difficult ground, and helped feed grandchildren. Their work allowed younger mothers to devote more energy to newborns and eventually have additional children, while knowing older generations were helping support the family. Rather than representing the end of usefulness, menopause may have become one of humanity's greatest evolutionary advantages. Experienced grandmothers increase the survival of future generations, allowing more descendants to thrive. Wisdom becomes most powerful when it is shared across generations. Every family carries strength not only through youth, but also through experience, patience, and care earned over a lifetime. As remarkable as these discoveries are, they also reveal something deeply relevant to modern life. For hundreds of thousands of years, parents almost never raised children by themselves. Every family belonged to a wider circle of relatives, friends, and neighbors who shared responsibility every single day. Someone could hold the baby while another gathered food. Someone else could comfort a tired mother or watch a sleeping child. Today, many parents find themselves awake at 3 a.m. with an exhausted infant and almost no support nearby. In many places, the village that once surrounded every child has largely disappeared. The overwhelming fatigue and loneliness so many parents experience today should not automatically be viewed as personal failure. Human beings evolved expecting help. Our biology was shaped around cooperation, not isolation. Trying to perform alone what once required an entire community naturally creates tremendous physical and emotional strain. Perhaps the most important lesson from our ancestors is not simply how they raised children, but why they succeeded. Survival was never about one extraordinary parent carrying every burden alone. It depended on enough people caring deeply enough to share the responsibility. That truth continues to matter today. Every act of kindness toward a parent, every hour spent helping with a child, every grandparent, sibling, friend, or neighbor who offers support becomes part of a tradition that stretches back hundreds of thousands of years. Humanity survived because people carried one another through the hardest seasons of life, and that may still be one of our greatest strengths. Comment 0 if you believe every child deserves a community, not just a family. If this journey through our shared human history gave you a new perspective, consider subscribing so you won't miss future stories exploring the remarkable paths that shaped who we are today.